Hello, everyone. Thanks for dancing with me. So that was Rose Garden by Madhu Andani, and I've been rocking out to that song, preparing this presentation for you all. I put some rose scent on my arms, and I didn't bring any because I just had a bunch of work to do, but my garden is full of roses right now. So I'm really being inundated with Rose. And she's apparently the energy we need to hang out with this week. Um, and, Rose is a symbol across all traditions, pretty much with similar messaging, which is that, Rose is all about our heart. She's all about our best selves, and she's our guide. Um, so, with that, maybe I'll just start the presentation. So you can see some beautiful photos of Rose. So this is a damask rose from my garden, and these are one of the two species of roses that are used for scent. So this rose has an amazing scent. And this is my front yard right now. It's pretty jungly with roses. Um, the red roses, they are so spectacular that when we first moved in, it was almost too much for my mom, and she suggested taking them out. It was just, they're just so overt and huge and opulent. And um, she was kidding mostly, I think. She helps me prune them now, and that's why they look so beautiful because she's so talented at rose pruning. I wanted to connect roses and flowering in with a recent Teacher Way teaching, and I might need to stop share so I can read this to you. Um, in fact, yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to invite you to feel your feet on the ground and just come back to yourself for a moment. Come back to your best state. You can close your eyes. Bring Mingjue back to the center of the head, your observer observing itself. And I'm just going to say a few words and read a few words of Teacher Wei. So, what if Mingjue is like a glorious blooming of our original Huanyan universe chi? And this is related to something Teacher Wei said in April, considering the three stages of chi development, starting with universe Huanyan chi and human innate chi that transforms then into EUNT and pure baby heart chi. And Teacher Wei says, EUNT is like a beautiful flower of our human chi. It is also like a beautiful flower of universe Huanyan chi. You see, EUNT is developed from the universe's original Huanyan chi. It is also gradually developed from humans' innate chi. The universe's original Huanyan chi is developed into our human innate chi. And finally, human innate chi is developed into EUNT. These are the three levels of greater evolution of universe chi. After EUNT appears, it will continue to evolve. When EUNT reflects itself, it comes into Mingjue, a self-awakened state. When EUNT remains very clear, pure, and stable, it becomes increasingly independent from the body. It is possible that EUNT can be completely independent from the body and exist in space. So, what if this is our work in this practice of chi science, blooming into our true nature, our true radiant selves? This is our evolutionary journey and the essential evolutionary journey of our universe. So, I'll just sit for a moment with those words. I'm going to put the rose back on the screen. And just gazing at the rose with this observer observing itself and seeing if there's a recognition in the blooming. In the blooming, one petal by petal, the rose opening up slowly and unhurried. That slow blooming that is our practice. When we practice the blooming of UNT into Mingjue, into our true self. Here are some roses that we can gaze upon from our Chi Science retreat. These are from photos sent by Cecile and Swan, and both of them made sure to take pictures of all the roses that were around. And they were really quite beautiful. And this rose garden, when I set it up like this, it reminds me of this beautiful rose garden that we see every time we come and meet on Zoom. That together we are a beautiful rose garden. We are the rose garden. And that analogy from Madhu's song is that same analogy. It shows up in Sufi mysticism that we are all becoming the rose garden. Roses of many colors, different scents and flavors, but a beautiful garden. Here are Elizabeth's roses from her house. Beautiful red roses. Just noticing the contrast of colors, the showiness, the brilliance. And also the hardiness. Roses are beautiful, delicate things, but they are hardy, tough plants. Here's a rose garden I visited recently in Santa Barbara. Just thought the field of roses was so striking. Just allowing the beauty to wash through, to inspire your own blooming. Okay, a few facts. Just a few. Roses are ancient and they predate humans. They've probably been around for 35 million years. They are very resilient plants and they propagate independently. Really, all you need to do is take a stick and stick it in the ground, um, and you'll get another rose plant. That damask rose that I showed you a picture of from my garden, beautiful smelling rose, it's more of a native rose, and it was growing like a weed at the rose nursery I went to. And these are two pictures of native roses. So native roses grow in Asia, Europe, Africa, and North America. So on the right is from Alma. I'm assuming that's a Santa Fe rose, maybe. She's nodding. And then to the left is the native rose from where I live. I took the photo yesterday. They're blooming. And roses have been cultivated in China for at least 5,000 years for medicine. There are 200 species, but only two are used for scent. So just soaking in the wildness of the wild rose. They grow everywhere. I've seen them growing in Tahoe Mountains, all the way down where I am, which is basically sea level. So very hardy. So, rose as a spiritual metaphor, I mean, this we could have several years of a class on this. I put a link at the bottom. This woman, Anne Baring, wrote has some beautiful information about this. But um, roses are divine guides. They're very connected to our heart. And rose imagery, again, is across many traditions, and it's often used as a way of explaining a gentle unfolding of consciousness and the soul's journey toward divine realization. And this is a picture of Mother Mary in a rose garden. She's often placed there. She is often called a rose. Jesus is often referred to as a rose also. In the Sufi tradition, again, the rose harden is the heart prepared for divine love. And we move from longing for the rose, which is often symbolized as the nightingale's song for the rose, to become part of the rose garden. In the Rosicrucian tradition, the rose symbolizes the regenerated heart, and each petal is an unconditional or Mingjue virtue. In early Christianity, the pleroma, which was the divine fullness, is an eternal garden where roses of different colors represent various aspects of divine emanation and the soul's journey returning to its source. Now, rose scent has its own whole other information about it. But just briefly, in Catholic and really many traditions, the scent of roses is this, sacred scent, the odor of sanctity. And when it's smelled out of context, so if you're not in a rose garden and you smell rose scent, it's considered to be a miracle. It indicates the presence of holiness. Marian apparitions often come along with the scent of roses, as do encounters with angels and saints. And it seems to me that the Buddhist or Hindu symbol for the lotus takes on similar meanings to the rose in Western traditions. So, roses as flowering parts of each of our energy centers or chakras in Hindu. Again, blooming roses as our blooming enlightenment. I've been particularly struck by the imagery in Dante's Divine Comedy around the white rose. And this is just a picture of that depiction by Gustave Doré. And in the scene at the end of the Divine Comedy, in paradise, the white rose is a celestial image that represents the Empyrean, the highest and purest realm of heaven. It is a symbolic representation of God's love and presence, where the blessed are arranged in a three-dimensional symmetric structure. The rose's petals are inhabited by the saints, who are depicted as a multitude of light and glory. So each petal a saint. And I just had to throw this in since we hung out with bees recently. Dante uses the imagery of bees alighting on and leaving the flowers to describe the movement of the souls ascending and descending within the rose. So a blooming rose is also like a complicated and intricate mandala, a mandala of enlightenment and pure love. And here's another beautiful rose bush from my garden. This one I planted first thing when I moved into the house, was propagated with a cutting from a plant at my mom's house. It's one of my favorite roses. It's thornless. And now this bush grows, I don't know, 15 feet tall, and it's full of these pink blossoms. And underneath the bush, I've hollowed out a little meditation space. Um, with a place to sit. And that's where I sit and hang out with my bees. But I just wanted, this is something inspired by a laughter club that Stephanie led a few weeks ago. I just want all of you to imagine this is thornless rose. So just, look at this photo, and if you need to close your eyes, just imagine putting your face into those fluffy rose blossoms, those rose flowers, and just imagine yourself doing that and feeling the feels and smelling the amazing smell and just, you know, feeling that joy, that just of being in communion with this beauty. And it's just so exquisite. It's hard to even describe. Smelling the roses, nose in the roses, feeling the petals on your face. Just allowing Mingjue to observe and experience. And notice how it changes everything else in your body. Smelling the roses. So I'll stop there. Love to hear, I don't know, anything you all love about roses, stories about anything, whatever would like to be shared. Yes, Robin.
Well, you inspired me when I knew it was about roses. And I thought it was so cool that in Monday morning's class, probably more than half the shares were about roses. We were talking about spring. I just thought that was amazing. But roses haven't started to bloom here except the wild ones. It'll be another couple weeks before our roses come out. But I decided I wanted to have a collection of petals from each of the roses that blooms in my yard. So this is the wild rose, and I dried the petals. Whoops, there's too much shade on there, and they're in a little plastic box. So as each rose blooms, I'm going to dry some petals and add them. So this little cube will hold all the different roses that we grow. Not a lot, we got about 4 kinds, but I have this wonderful little dryer. This fits in the microwave. And in 50 seconds, I dried those rose petals and they're perfect. My amazing stepdaughter is always sending us the most amazing things. It's called microfleur, and it is the coolest thing. Craig does his leaves, for his quintus. He needs the flat, beautiful. He does his quintu leaves in here, and we do lots of flower petals to use in despachos in the winter. But it's so amazing. So uh, I just started my little rose collection thanks to your idea of roses. Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Oh, what a fun creative idea. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't attend Monday that it was about roses. And of course, Elizabeth and we have a very intuitive way of choosing the themes for nature healing. And we often don't know what it's going to be. We have a lot of ideas and things working, and then something will hit, and we'll be like, "That's it, all right." And then I send the email out. And this week we didn't know, and roses were on the short list, and then they showed up in a bunch of dreams I had. So um, I knew they were needed. Anybody else wanna go ahead, Debbie? You're muted. You're muted. Debbie, there you are.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I loved your little phrase about nose or noses in the roses. That's something I definitely will take with me and have this clear imagery and feel of. So thank you. It's beautiful.
You are welcome. Yeah, Stephanie led a laughter club, and we put our, I think it was in roses, right, Steph? Anyway, we put our noses into flowers, and anyway, I went outside and did it live with my rose plant and had to share it with people. Yeah.
I want to name a couple of kinds of roses that come to mind. One is here on the East Coast, especially on the beach, there are a lot of beach roses that are really wonderful. I'm sure Irene has some near where
Rose
she
hip,
lives.
the rose
What?
hip, the rose hips.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
they grow rose hips. Yeah,
Yeah, and you
and
can eat the berry. It's a red berry that comes and you eat them vitamin C.
oh.
Amazing. Yeah. When I lived on the Cape, I lived on those. No, I didn't do it.
the dunes. Yeah, and they're
And
very lovely, and they're not multiple petals. It's just sort of like a six petal. Is it five or six petal
Price.
flower?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other rose of association for me is I have a backyard with where I have my garden, and someone had planted I guess they're called wild climbing roses. They're impossible to get out. They're impossible to get out. You can dig, you can extract them, you can try to kill them. They're impossible to get out. And they spread into the garden every year, no matter what you do. And they're they actually have a lovely scent, and they're small. They're kind of, I don't know, maybe two to
Now,
three inches across. Yeah. So those are some rose associations.
They are tenacious. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we often think of roses as these little delicate, dainty things. And, first and foremost, they are thorn bushes, really, Like they have a flower, yes, but um, they're no joke.
Thank you for this beautiful presentation and bringing us roses, but you just brought up the thorns. And so some of the inspiration for me actually this last week has been so powerful, as many people have brought up, especially facing family challenges and things. And the rose, with its beauty and its scent and its softness, I can never forget the thorns. So it makes me think of that beautiful pairing that we've explored in some of our classes.
there's a rose. Mhm.
Robin brought it up as well, like the grief and the beauty coming together all in one beautiful experience, and that resilience that you're bringing up just rounds it even more, like bringing resilience to grief and beauty and allowing ourselves to experience all of it. And seeing those thorny wild roses climbing up barbed wire and overtaking barbed wire, which we see around here, it's just really it's inspiring to see the coexistence of such beauty and such tenacious sharpness. It's just really, I don't know, it's strong. So thank you for bringing us this beauty, but also, the thorns. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, Debbie's saying, yes, Debbie. Oh, there you
I do have some good information about roses that I just thought about, courtesy of Linda Ronstadt. Love is a rose, but you better not pick it. It only grows when it's on the vine. Handful of thorns, and you know you've missed it. Use You lose your love when you say the word mine. A little bit about attachment there.
Awesome. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, there's so many amazing, amazing poems, songs, quotes, art. I mean, the Rose is she's very inspirational. And
Mhm.
that's beautiful. Yeah, the thorns in Sufi mysticism are they kind of represent the chi purifications
Mm.
that we need to go through, maybe not need to go through, but that we often end up going through on our way to enlightenment. And that a thornless rose is like this ideal, this situation where you don't have to go through any of the chi purifications. um, yeah, in Sufi mysticism. But yeah, the roses tonight, I know why roses came up personally for me in the dreams I was seeking this weekend because tenacity is definitely involved. And also the promise, of that scent of rose in the end, right? Like that miracle, the miracle that happens with the tenacity, with the steadfastness, with the not getting attached, right? Yeah, thank you. Are there any? Oh, go ahead, Swan.
I just want to thank you for the presentation and the breadth of it, and the slide about the white rose really struck me. I was going to try to take a photo of this. My dad grew roses and he would photograph them, and he was also a visual as a hobby. He painted, and I'm really fortunate to have been able to have the oil painting he did of two really beautiful white roses. And I just went out to see if I could take it off the wall, but it's in a spot behind the upright piano, and I just couldn't I couldn't get it down so I could show it to you. But it really means a lot to me, and I didn't know the significance of white roses, so that was really very special and precious. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Swan. I see you and your dad together in those two white roses in that artwork. Yeah, the rose alba, it's the white rose, often associated with Mother Mary, but also enlightenment. Um, yeah, our pure Mingjue state, the shu sound, and that beautiful togetherness that we achieve when we become part of the oneness and complete harmony, surrender. And I love the idea of all of us, becoming just one petal in this most beautiful expression of universal love or beauty. Because I feel like really sometimes that's all I really ever wanted was to be just one petal in the most beautiful rose, or just one feather on a hummingbird, or just one drop of a gorgeous waterfall, or whatever. So I feel like that rose alba really, it's a really good symbol from Dante. Are there any healing intentions that we want to put in this rose field? So many, I'm sure.
Thank you for that beautiful presentation and all those beautiful shares. I'd like to put the Groven family, just lost their mom, and the De Benedettis family that just lost a son into the field. Hala.
Allah, thank you.
like to put my two friends, Greg and Dean, in the field, one from surgery and one from his ongoing side effects of his cancer. And also, Stephanie, to you, incredible gratitude for the healing session last night. That was very, very powerful.
Allah, thank you. Yeah, that those healing sessions that Stephanie's been leading from templates from the retreat, it does remind you of a rose, right? Standing around as the petals with our intentions in the middle. Yeah, thank you.
And you can feel it in the center. Like when I had the gift of being there the last two moon sessions this month. And when you're in the center, I mean, you feel all of those layers of the rose petals when you're going through and the energy is coming down and it's like you're lit up with them. So it's very powerful. And it reminds me of the share of us all as roses from the presentation. And we get to do that together with the energy of the moon. So yeah, thank you.
Allah.
I want to put into these healing sessions and all of us as roses. Rose is a family name in my family on my dad's side. And I would like to bring all of that rose energy in the lineage and just allow it to connect with the power of the rose and all of the healing and resilience that it holds. Thank you.
Allah.
I would like to put my brother-in-law John in, who had neck surgery today and is just has survived so much, and that we hold him as he comes through one more thing.
Sent him roses, resilience.
Yes, he'll like the roses.
Thank you.
I'd like to put my friend Joan, who just had a tick bite and a reaction to a tick bite, and my friend Ava Lou, who has liver cancer.
Allah.
I'd like to put Jamie and Jesse in the center of the rose for healing of their hearts and the strife and suffering they're going through in their relationship, and Roger and Bonnie for healing their spines and their hearts.
Allah. Oh, you're still muted. Hold on. There you go.
I'd like to put my brother-in-law Ron in the field. He had a serious surgery and is currently on the ventilator. And there are several others that I'm thinking of as well that I won't go through all their names, but I'd like to put them all in the field. Thank you.
Allah. Put Tom and Wendy and Ani in the field. Allah.
I'd like to put my brother-in-law, Jimmy, in, and all his children and nephews he just lost his brother, only brother. Paula.
Allah. Okay. I'd also like to put everyone in our in our Qigong community in the field as we grow and expand and bring new people in and organize and all the things that groups do in the 3D. Just keeping us in the field that we can manage in a way that brings more people in and spreads beauty and healing and harmony. And asking for Rose's guide with her impeccability and strength. Paula. Any other?
I just feel like I need to bring my mom in because we used to call the thorns prickers on the roses, and we had roses and irises a lot in our yard, roses and irises, and I can, as people were talking and sharing, I could see my mom coming in the house and having like little pricker marks on her amazing peasant hands. They were just so beautiful. My mom's hands were delicious. They were just so amazing. So I just needed to bring her in tonight. Hala.
Paula, thank you. Being held by Irene's mom. That is an honor. Thank you, Irene. Her big, capable, loving hands.
I'm gonna pull my mom into the field now too because we called them prickers also, and I thought of her when you said that, Irene.
Must be an East Coast thing.
Thank you, Stephanie. Halada, Stephanie's mom, holding us.
I'm going to pull my mom in the field too, just because we're doing that and it feels right.
Yes! Angie's mom, help us, please. Hold us in the field. All the ancestor moms, we're inviting you all in. We need you now. Give our problems over to them. They'll take care of it. Allah. Yeah, that's what Rose does. Strong and capable. All right, I'm going to invite you to take this strong and capable energy and find your most comfortable relaxation position. And breathing in and out, and just allowing yourself to really surrender. Because these moms have our back. And we have the roses at our back with their thorns and their tenacity and their ability to be our guides, the guides to our heart. With their flowers, a beautiful metaphor for our own enlightenment, our own highest selves, the purest expression and blooming of our baby hearts. And coming back to the center of our head, allowing our Mingjue to come forth, blooming from our EUNT, and just observing all these beautiful shares, observing all this beautiful energy that was brought forward tonight, observing all of our heartfelt intentions and heart's desires, these sacred wishes for our friends and family, for healing and for peace. And viewing them, beholding them lovingly with our Mingjue, with our individual blooming, and surrounding them in the sacred rose garden. We are the sacred rose garden, gathered here for healing and awakening and unconditional love, peace, happiness, and so much gratitude for all that is right now. Allowing Mingjue to go deeper and deeper, filling every cell, every empty space in our heads. Allowing ourselves to merge with universe chi, merging even deeper and more consciously with all the sages, all the saints, all the mothers, all the ancestors here for light and love. She she deepening into our clear and pure entirety state. She allowing this Mingjue entirety state to merge down through the neck inner space. She she this purity of flowering merging through the neck into all the cells, all the empty space, going deeper. Now allowing this blooming of Mingjue to flow down the shoulders, the arms and the hands. Shi, shi. Empty and open, clear and pure. Our Mingjue flows now into the heart. Mingjue is blooming through the heart, through the lungs. Shi, shi. Mingjue fills all the cells, all the empty spaces, opening and clearing. Shi, and allowing the blooming to flow down into Huanyan Palace through all the organ systems. Shi, smoothing it all out, transforming everything into the rose garden of Mingjue. Completely open and clear. The Mingjue blooming flows down through lower dantian. Through the reproductive organs and the kidneys, swirling through our innate chi. Completely open and clear. Mingjue blooms down the legs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Awakening every cell, harmonizing every cell, harmonizing all the space. Opening, gently blooming. Mingjue flows down the spine, upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. Allowing the blooming to flow throughout our entire nervous system, everywhere in our bodies that our nervous system reaches, opening and flowering in Mingjue harmony. Our entire bodies, our chi bodies, harmonized with Mingjue, merged completely with universe chi as we expand, expand, expand. Our consciousness becoming the entire universe, filling it up, harmonizing with it, allowing original Huanyan Qi to permeate every aspect of our existence, our beings, our lives, all the structures in our lives, families, reference frameworks, everything. Mingjue consciousness permeates everything we touch, everything we've ever touched, and all that we will touch moving forward. And we become one in this beautiful flowering, this expanded love, love's fullest expression, embodying love's fullest expression. Continue to feel into this largest expression of love. Really internalize how big, immense, and grand the expression of love is. How strong love is. How that with love behind your back, there is no fear. There is nothing that you can't face. No heart's desire you can't fulfill. Feeling the immensity of love that is you, that you have the potential to step into now. That energy you can draw from anytime. Taking this big love with you. If you wish to come out of meditation to resume your evening, you can gently move your toes and fingers. If you'd like to stay here and really integrate this big love further, you can silently drop off and just stay in this beautiful meditation for as long as you need. This is our work here to integrate this love, to become this love. Slowly moving as you need to, your hips maybe the shoulders, maybe the arms. Integrating this rose garden. And coming back when you're ready.